Woo! Woo! Hey, it's Halloween week here. How are you guys doing? Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. I'm in my Halloween costume. You might think that I'm a share of PepsiCo, but no, ladies and gentlemen, I am a social media post hashtag about PepsiCo, I guess. You like that? This is called repurposing old content. Remember, I made these shirts not too long ago, and oh, it's bugging the heck out of me. I've had them in the closet on a hanger, and apparently the necks all stretch out, so it's gonna bother the heck out of me. But you know what? We'll get through. We'll power forward. Why? Well, you are live on the weekend dividend dive number 135, and we're going to talk about what you want to talk about. And it was a rough week, but you know what? Most of us are long-term investors. So how the heck are you guys going? I'd love to see you, Jim and Shannon, and I don't know who else we got in here. Pat, Shamir, Steve K. Steve K, I remember most of the people that talk here. I don't think we've talked before, so I'll give you an extra salute for you, sir. And a sip of the tea. Hey, let me know if that pumpkin's flashing is driving you nuts. Um, Pat just sold out of PepsiCo. Dude, I'm gonna get close. So we're waiting on the first bill from the car we bought from the financing. And you know, I just want to be, do you guys feel the same? Do you want to be allergic to debt? I want to be allergic, not allergic. We add extra syllables and vowels and letters into words sometimes, and sometimes we remove them. Like, I know how you're supposed to say rankings. I have been known once or twice to say rankins without the G. So if you hear that, don't worry. It's just where I'm from. It's the way apparently people say this stuff. Alan Scorpio Shopflin. What do I think about AZO? Is that I don't know what AZO is. We can take a peek at it. So nice. Yeah, Pat. It wasn't until you said, does the pumpkin bother you? That was my wife. I just had this, it's a plastic thing. I can turn it off if it does, you know. If it's too much, we can, I don't know, we'll do something. We'll figure something out. I just scoot over there and but rough week in the markets. This is going to be an interesting week. Let's just, oh my god, AutoZone. Oh, wait. Are you sure it's AutoZone? AZN, right? Is it AZN? Because I had been in AutoZone. If those of you that have been on the show for a while, we watched, I had started a position, loved this strong increases in the dividend, but that free cash flow payout ratio went above 100%. And I said, you know what? I'm out. Unless it's a PepsiCo where it looks like it's temporary because they were investing in other things in the business to grow them, and it pushed the free cash flow payout ratio over 100%. But it was almost like, you know, it's like a controlled burn. Hey, we got it under control, you know. But with all right, let me turn that off then, Shannon. Hold on, everybody. The beauty of it's my little lantern. So there we go. Beauty of being live. Talk about repurposing things. That was the little lantern. That's usually where the candle is. So, okay, all better. I like pumpkins. We were just carving pumpkins upstairs with the kids, my 17 and 15-year-olds. Had my hands all up in the pumpkin guts. Man, I'm not a big fan of that. It's really weird, really creepy. Do you guys like carving pumpkins? I'm sure there's somebody out there with a weird kink for pumpkin carving. But hey, that's oh, Greg, AZN is AstraZeneca. Okay. That is good. So yeah, we'll look at AutoZone. And you know what, my friend? We're gonna try and stay caught up this time. So let's see if I get through this one super, super quick. Matt, I've never done a video on JEPQ. I guess I'm skeptically optimistic, if that's a way to say it, because they're so new. These covered call, they're income ETFs, right? and they're writing covered calls. So it's derivatives based, meaning they're writing option contracts, the puts and calls, as I understand it. But, uh, or do they own? I honestly don't remember if they own the underlying or not. I don't know how it's going to handle in a steep recession, a big bear market where we're have prolonged. We don't have those anymore, right? The market might pull back for a day, maybe two, if you're lucky, and then it just gets bought right the heck up. But yeah, let's look at for you, Matt. Then just quick, because I like to do this for all y'all. Why not? I pay for Simply Safe, so let's do this. I updated my Mac OS browser. Now I'm getting weird pop-ups. Wants to hold on. Let me put myself down low to give you guys more real estate. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at news, which I guess we could do the news and then we'll just roll right into AutoZone because hey, why not? We'll blow that up a little bit. Look at that, Starbucks, good old S-Box raised that dividend 7%. As I shared on Blossom, though, it's really here. I'll just show you. It'll just be easier to do this way. It'll be a lot easier. So Starbucks dividend growth, you can see there, the 10-year CAGR was 17%, very fast. 5-year dividend growth CAGR, 10% fast. And now we're at 7% average. It's still beating the pants off inflation, but it's slowing down. It's not as fast as it once was. So Starbucks, there you go, raised the dividend 7%. Again, this is on Simply Safe Dividends. We look. The electric utility company, AEP, raised that dividend 5.7%. And look at that. They've been paying dividends every quarter since 1910. I saw some people from 1910 today. Well, I was standing above them. My daughter and I took a walk through the graveyard, through the cemetery. Mary Queen of Heaven in Hillside, Illinois. My grandparents are buried there, as well as some other long distant relatives I've never met. I did some maintenance on my grandparents, headstones. It's for me. It's for the living. They don't care. You know why? Because they're dead. So back to the world of the living here. McDonald's, their E. coli. What do you guys think about this? Did you scoop up any shares? I love saying that. Ryan says scoop up. Did you scoop up any shares? And yeah, 49 people across 10 states were sickened. They located it to one distributor, right, of the sliced onions on the quarter pounders. They removed quarter pounders from 3 states off the menu. And they're just looking. So I think they nipped it. I think they did it. They tracked it quick. They did damage control. I don't know if it'll spread to be like a Chipotle thing where I think sales fell 30%. Stock price got cut in half. I would love to see that. You don't want anyone to get sick or lose their lives. E. coli is a nasty, nasty thing. But honestly, if McDonald's share price was cut in half, I would be a buyer. I would finally add some more. But yeah, are you guys buying up any McDonald's? Another big one, Genuine Parts. I think somebody asked about this recently, ticker GPC. They had their worst day ever. They fell 20% on their on Tuesday. That's what it says there. I can read on Tuesday from their third quarter results. They lowered their guidance, I think 15%. So it might be a bit of an overreaction, but anyway, GPC down to $114 a share. And I think they'll be okay. They did note what I've seen a lot of is recession, or not recessionary, consumers being a little bit more tight-walleted. So we'll see. That could be indicative of something coming down the pike. The electric utility company, Pinnacle, ticker PNW, raised their dividend 1.7%. Arizona's largest electric utility. And then this one we shared on Blossom. By the way, link in the description below. If you don't follow me on Blossom, you really should. Yeah, if you sign up, I get a few bucks for that, but there's no cost to you. It's free to use the platform. There is an upgrade for the premium version. So anyway, why wouldn't you? You can toggle on my trades. You got Ian Lopik there, Daniel Pronk, Ryan Williams, Mike the Dividend Guy, amongst others. Brandon Beavis, he's the one that started it. My friend Brandon Beavis. And anyway, so Nexstar Energy Partners, ticker NEP. Looks like a dividend reduction is coming, or a distribution reduction is coming. And they gave them a dividend downgrade to 20, very unsafe. And then for you, we will look at, it is AZO. Wow, look at that. I was wrong. Oh, they completely removed the dividend. That was AutoZone, right? Yeah, they don't pay a dividend. There it is. Have they ever? What am I thinking of? What did I even invest in? Oh, I know what it was. What? Duh. Yeah. So AutoZone doesn't pay a dividend, but actually it looks pretty solid, man. I mean, here, let me do my due diligence for you. Free cash flow per share could be at an all-time high. Sales growth still in the mid single digits. Down to 17 million shares outstanding. Sales are up and to the right. Return on equity is negative, probably because they are so aggressive buying back shares. Really high return on invested capital. So yeah, it looks like a solid business. But what we saw with GPC, they could have some sympathy selling off of that. ICR could be a little higher. And yeah, there you go. When I saw 17 million shares outstanding, I thought, I bet that share price is up there. So $3,000 a share, but that's because there's only 17 million shares outstanding. But here, just because we were talking about it, Advance Auto Parts, that's the one that Papa over here cut out. And I'll show you why. We'll just skinch on by. It was because of, yeah, speculative bucket of yuck. This gets the Mr. Yuck snack. Here we go. I'm sure you can see this on the screen. I'll make it a little bigger. This is what got me to sell. They raised that dividend 25%. I got in somewhere in 2021, held it for almost a year. And when I saw that free cash flow payout ratio at 117%, and then they had expected it to be higher in 2023, I only had maybe a dozen shares or so. I took it off. I said, you know what? I'm up. I've received some dividends. I'm profitable. I'm out. And it was a great move because they ended up just obliterating that dividend. So back on to you guys. And I love seeing all you guys chat here. God bless it. I love it. Anyone going trick-or-treating? Did you get my email or the newsletter? What I shared about Tootsie Roll with the reverse, or the stock split every year, not the reverse split. Wait. Oh, hello, Bernard. Fast Eddie, you opened your first brokerage account? Really? Where at? Congrats if you did. I'd like to know. Oh, you don't have to tell us where. We need account numbers. Have you seen that you can write puts and calls 3 times a week on SLV? I have not. Harsha, that's crazy. That's too much. Yeah, I have not seen that. Do you do that? How have you been with it? Gold's been in a really strong uptrend too. So yeah. Good midnight to you. That was the start of a punk song by Calabrese, which is 3 brothers from the Detroit area, horror punk band, and they started with a song. Good midnight. Don't sell Pepsi user dividends to pay the loan. Oh, buddy, I wish I could, but here's the thing. Right now we're receiving what? 4? Well, let's look. I love the idea. Believe me, I've thought about it. But let's see. Oh, gosh, dang it. God, dang it. I didn't share the screen. Here we go. Let's go real quick on good old PepsiCo. PepsiCo. Probably not going to grow a lot, but one of the reasons why I'm going to sell it, it's such a big, stable company. Fantastic for people in wealth preservation mode. And I'm already starting to get caught behind in the comments. I love it. But, oh, where did mine go? Here's mine. You can see my shares here. Currently up 14.2%. Annual income, $542, right? So we're getting, call it $550 from PepsiCo. But we still have to pay tax on that, right? But the loan is gonna be for, I think, 29,000. So, it would take a long time to pay off that money with getting 500 bucks a year, and I'm okay with it. As you saw, John, we're up. I'm gonna pay the money back, so we're looking at this as taking a loan, giving us ourselves a loan, and I know a lot of people would disagree, say, "Leave the money in, don't sell investments," but it's in our taxable account. We really needed a dependable and kinda nice, because we usually drive stuff that's a little bit old and beat up, but as we're getting older, that I guess that would be our splurge. So, we're probably gonna anyway, too much about this Atlas, but we're I wanna be allergic to debt, as I said, and we're probably gonna sell off the PepsiCo position, 100 shares, and I have, I think, 117 of J&J. Probably gonna sell off most of that just to get rid of it, get it done, and then pay back more than likely $200 to $300 a week if I can do that, if I can sustain that at a minimum to until it's all paid back. And the fun part is gonna be what am I gonna buy instead? So, again, that's why it's called personal finance, right? Is that uh, it's personal to us, and it's just what we sleep well at night. If you guys listen to Morgan Housel, if you've heard him on any podcasts, you know that he's said that him and his wife decided they wanted a paid off house. Everybody said that's the dumbest thing you could do. You have a low mortgage interest rate. You're going to lose out on so much money in the stock market if you just stay invested. And him and his wife said, look, we understand it, but we don't care. We don't care because we will sleep so well at night knowing that we have a paid off house. And the kicker is you can't quantify sleep well at nightedness. You can't quantify psychological well being and happiness on a spreadsheet. And I think that's kind of where I'm falling with this is that I just want it done, paid off, and then I can pay back ourselves at our leisure and probably go into some things that have a bigger growth trajectory and still have a passive income component to them. Now, where were we? Harsha, good point. Yeah, it is a little bit high. That's because they're just not investing in the business like other companies that are growing, that are going to have a much greater total return potential than PepsiCo will. So PepsiCo, J&J, remember J&J spun off Kenvue. So they're going to be, I think, pretty hit or miss because they have the med tech and the pharmaceuticals. And the pharmaceuticals likely, as I understand it, are the big hit and miss component. If you get some big blockbuster drugs, going to be awesome, but it's really hard to, for me at least, to tell what's in their pipeline and what could be a big drug. Oh, the celebrity vids congratulating you for the milestone. Take back their congrats. No, Ian Lopuk might, but the one, if you all haven't seen, we could dig it up, I'm sure. I've told you guys, I paid Graham Stephan to do that, right? Feels a little dirty saying that, but we're all capitalists here, right? It's what we do. At the time, I felt that I was newer on the journey as a YouTuber, and I thought that was the way to go. And I saw him on the Cameo app. So I paid the kind gentleman, as I remember it, approaching $200 for him to record that little whatever 30-second congratulatory thing because I thought it would be silly. Like Graham Stephan, dude, had millions of subscribers at that time, but Ian Lopik, no, Ian was one I DM'd. I talked to him. He did that out of the kindness of his heart. So honestly, Ian has infinite more respect and admiration than a Graham Stephan does. So Ian is the real deal. I talk with Ryan all the time, and I've never met Ian. I've only talked to him in DMs. And Ryan said he is exactly how he is in the videos. He is that. That is Ian. And I hope I'm the same way too. Oh, it's over 75 now. Let's hope. I hadn't seen that, Rick. Thanks for sharing. And I really do hope that it just stems out there. We don't, if people can get sick, McDonald's will probably have to pay them money. Hopefully nobody dies. McDonald's share price takes a hit. The sick people recover. McDonald's share price recovers. We can all win. But yeah. Oh, you're a big McDonald's guy, Shamir, right? No joke about McDonald's, Jim? Come on, there's gotta be one out there somewhere. You just bought it. They were they were concerned that the beef might be involved, but just read that the beef was cleared. Yeah, good. Yep, it was the onions. You guys got it? You got it. Well, I don't have Nextera. I think you're talking about Nexstar Media Group, ticker NXST, and it's crossed my mind. Shannon, it really has. It's one that I've really been thinking, what have I gotten wrong? I know the market doesn't like the sector. They buy back a lot of shares, they return a lot of cash to shareholders. And it's a question of is local broadcast ever going to go away? Because in a nutshell, Nexstar Media Group, what they do is they they put out content that attracts advertisers, and that's kind of the really Crayola version of what Nexstar does. So they're constantly, but they're centered on local broadcasts, right? So I don't know if here's a good question for all of you boys and girls. Do you watch or consume any local news? Do you on TV, like any local broadcast stuff? Do you watch any of that? I'd like to know that. Yeah, Harsha, I don't know about I haven't looked into that. I meant to. I don't. I've heard mixed things about Jim Cramer, but from what I understand, he's actually pretty good dude. He gets ripped on a lot. So, hey, there he is, Bose. Dude, I was just talking to my wife about you because it's silly season here in the United States. I can't wait till this darn election's over. You guys know my thoughts. Getting getting too behind in the comments, but we I'm too far behind. Good lord. 9 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that. I have some thoughts on the election. I'm debating if I'll vote. I know I shouldn't say that, but I have pretty strong libertarian leanings, not Republican, not Democrat. In my opinion, I think people should be able to do whatever they want with consenting adults that doesn't infringe on the free movement, I guess, of somebody else. So there was a someone who had a book way back when called, I forget his name. It was called I think "Don't Hurt People and Don't Take Their Stuff" or something like that. And I kind of feel the same way. Don't hurt somebody unless they ask for it, because hey, there's people that are into whips and chains and BDSM, right? You got to be able to do that. So if somebody wants to be hurt and they're of sound, well, see that, and there's the gray area. How do you know that somebody's on sound mind? But anyway, this is not the worst. Uh, Let me get caught up, and if you want, I can share thoughts on that. You've been happy with DLR, which Dollar Tree, right? Is that Dollar Tree? Oh, there he is. Adam, what's up, man? I caught your live stream 2 Saturdays ago. Glad you guys. Yeah, Pat, I still have to respond to your emails. It's been crazy. I've been, again, carving pumpkins. I was out with my daughter today, taking her driving. She's 15. She wanted to get more driving time in because she wants to get her license. She turns 16 in December. So I was like, yeah, just the two of us. Let's go. And it's like, why don't we go to the cemetery? Because it's almost Halloween time. So we went, saw my grandparents, and oh, that toot. Oh, Shamir, it's ticker TR. And I don't know what toot is. Isn't that what Ryan Williams calls his wife? Toot? Toots? Toots? No, toot. What does he call her? Toot. Does anybody know that? Yeah, and that's a good point, Shamir. Yeah, you don't buy it, you marry well, some people even say, you date a stock, you don't marry it, right? I've not considered margin. I'm gonna stay allergic to that too. I don't even wanna mess around with it. Yeah, JJ, I shared it in a newsletter. I wrote it actually the morning, the Sunday morning we were in Frankenmuth 2 Sundays ago, and it's a 2021 Volkswagen Atlas, not the top of the line, but the second below, I believe. Yeah, it had 47,000 miles on it, which is crazy. My wife has been handling this. I thought used cars were 15, 16 grand for a really nice used one with low mileage. Nope. Turns out I'm wrong. So Yeah, we bought that and it was a shade over like it was like 31,000 we got it for, and then I bought the 5-year extended warranty for 2.5K. Two I could just say 2,500. And yeah, so we're gonna pay it off. Again, we needed a second car because we were driving a 2000 and wish my wife was here. I think it was a 2000 and yeah, it was a 2011 GMC Acadia. Lots of problems. Don't buy Acadias from those years. Terrible. And anyway, they had like 170,000 miles on it. So time to move on. But yeah, no worries, man. Boaz, Boaz or Boaz. I don't know if you can phonetically type it out. Married to Visa for almost 10 years. And that's great. That's great. But again, what I'll be paying from is from our taxable account. So it's not like I'm selling a retirement account or anything like that. And that's it was a gremlin. Come on, get it right, man. Right. And I understand there could be a total return, right, on PepsiCo. Share price would hopefully go up. They'll increase the dividends, but at the end of the day, the only debt that I want to have is the car or the house. We still have some years left on our mortgage, and I've honestly put it this way: our taxable account was getting close to where put we'll just say it was about 75% of what's remaining on the mortgage, and I've started having those thoughts before we bought this car. Man, should I if it eclipses that point, right? Because with money coming in and dividends are hopefully over time, our taxable account should keep growing, but every month or biweekly we pay our mortgage, that is going to keep coming down. So you got one thing coming down, one going up. And when they get to that level, I've thought, should I just sell the whole taxable account and buy the house? That's a bridge I'll cross when I get to it. But what are your guys' thoughts on that? For context, our mortgage is 2.25%, criminally low, stupidly low. So we have one of those golden mortgages that it's almost like free money. So it kind of doesn't make sense to pay it off because just buying VTI should give a bigger return. But top position, Nexstar Media Group, ticker NXST Allen. And when I get caught up, if you remind me, we can look at the portfolio on Simply Safe because it shares really nicely, and I can sort it into that. So you went to Charles Schwab, Eddie. You bought Apple, Berkshire, uh, Berk B. I'm like, what's that? Yeah, come on, you didn't pick up a couple shares of Berk A. Uh, Realty Income, Verizon, SCHD. Oh man, LTC, isn't that the healthcare, long-term care, right? It's like a healthcare stock, I think. And good old S-Bucks. Thinking of getting Novo this week. Actually, I was talking with my guy Ryan Williams, and I don't know if you caught the video I did with the 7 AI resistant stocks. One of them was Rollins. I think they've come down a little bit this week. I think I'm finally going to just pull the trigger. And I haven't done deep dives into that business, and the way it kind of works for me, and I don't know if any of you individual stock investors feel the same way, but I feel that you pay attention to what you pay for. So I will buy something, 1 share, 5 shares, 10 shares, and then I pay attention to a lot more. And I feel a much higher level of obligation to look into it and go a lot deeper, to dig deeper into it and then see how I still feel. And there's been times that's when I sell. So it's kind of like going on a date that way, right? You don't know how, maybe more than a date. When a stock comes on your radar, it's like seeing somebody in publicly you like. And then when you buy a share or two, it's like going on a date. and then waking up next to them and spending a lot more time and seeing how you feel. Sometimes the feel changes when you see someone from the inside. You gotta be careful with that. That makes sense. The Nine Inch Nails song that had something to say about that too. That's disgusting, onion flavored ice cream. Count me out. Count me out. Just keep buying Starbucks coffee. I'm waiting for them to get a little cheap. I think they ran up too much. I think the sheen is gonna wear off Brian Nickel, the magic man, and we're gonna. I think he's doing it too because he put out that shareholder letter this week, kind of blaming everything up. We're going to go in a new direction. The menu's too complex. I think he's setting us up for a couple more quarters of bad news. So I think some more short-sighted investors are going to get impatient and sell. I hope and bring the price down. All right, what do we got going on? Do 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 do. I'm getting caught. Oh, DLR, Digital Realty Trust. That's right. Oh, you want to look at Tootsie Roll on Simply Safe? John, I sure can, buddy. Behind the chat. I know, Adam, I'm getting caught up here. John, remind me, I really want to get caught up because I get too far behind on this. Oh, we got my guy. Dude, you're going to come on soon. I keep forgetting, man. Trust me. I know I got your number, Craig. We'll text, but I get so busy with life. You know, you've got kids, you've got a wife, you got a house, you got a job. Uh, and you don't even do the level of content creation I do. So I bought high tech. I bought 5 more shares of Vici this week, and I can pop them on too. All right, I'm almost close. Aaron, what's up, man? X dividend, dad, man. Don't you usually have the X to the what? X to the, or is that just for Kevin? Is that your guys' thing? We don't get that treatment around here. Don't worry. And I do apologize being so far behind. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So here, good thoughts on paying. I love hearing talk like this. I know this isn't specifically dividend related, but it could be because that would, because instead of paying off the house, I'm buying dividend stocks. But you never own your home. Correct. Taxes, insurance will always be due. And you have also witnessed people still becoming homeless when the government foreclosed due to taxes. That's very real, man. That is a very real and very valid point. But at least the taxes are going to be way less than the mortgage payment, right? So, oh, you did this. Able to sell taxable assets to pay for the house for over a year now. Pile of cash is more valuable than a paid off home. Oh, that's really interesting. So you're taking the opposite approach then, right? And I'm almost caught up, everyone. Look at that. That's once, put it this way. So once my taxable account reaches the level of what's left on the mortgage with a 2.25% interest, you don't think I should, right? Because then you have to look at, right? You're locking that money up in the house. If something should happen like this, if there's some, God forbid, some emergency, or I need money, then I can sell PepsiCo. I can sell shares of Lockheed Martin. But if I want to get that money out of the house, once I put it in there, you're going to have to do well, if it's paid off, you have to borrow against the house, right? So currently reading Invested by Charles Schwab. Okay, I got to do that. I need another book to read. So I did want to read. You read Josh Brown's You Weren't Supposed to See That, right? Invested by Chuck. I can't write. I'm on camera. I think I wrote Chalk Swab. I'm reading Invested by Chalk Swab. He's like, no, it's the wrong book. That makes sense why the guy's talking about Prison Break. And I'm not that quick to come up with something on the fly, but also Chuck on YouTube. So on Chuck on YouTube, are you talking about Fast Graphs Chuck, right? I can't think of his last name right now. It takes too long to get that pile again. Good point, man. Good point. And I do know that prevailing wisdom for anybody that's looking at buying a car, I think I heard Clark Howard talk about this, saying that you should get pre-qualified from a credit union because they will give you the absolute lowest rate. And then when you go in to buy a car, you can show them the letter when it's time to finance and say, okay, you guys are offering me like 7, 8, 9%. Well, the credit union's got me approved for 4. So what are you going to do here? What can we do? And they a lot of auto dealers, we did it this way because we know we're going to pay it off quick. We already pre-decided that. But they upcharge sometimes 2 to 3 times as much as a credit union would because people are lazy and they want that one-stop shop just to get it done. You're there, you want the car. Oh, okay, we'll just here's the loan. We'll sign it right here. And they make a lot of money on that, people's impatience. So that's life, right? That's like life anyway. Yeah, Shamir, we can I have it pulled up from the Wall Street week ahead. We can go through who reports this week. You don't get that treatment. Showed up late. It's all right, my man. It is all right. Any tea drinkers out there? Or are you all coffee drinkers? Do we have flood insurance in Chicago? No, but I'm pretty sure that there's people that are selling fire insurance on concrete bridges underwater. That's an Easter egg. If you listen to, like I have, if you listen to the old Berkshire annual meetings, Charlie Munger used to talk about deal. You can't do good business with bad people, and they did try to do business with somebody that was telling them they were essentially. It was like taking candy from a baby, and they would essentially be writing underwriting insurance against concrete bridges underwater, like fire insurance. Carnival. Is that a show? I missed that. That must be part of another conversation. Oh, Sam from Down Under. Thank you for swinging on by the channel. Josh Brown book was a fun read, but now real investing advice with a couple of exceptions. Oh, but not, wait, not, yeah, it's fun, right? Oh, you did get Robert Forster's book. Cool. What did you think? What did you think of it? It's stories. It's like I said, it's almost like a bathroom reader, you know. Have I ever welded aluminum to steel? Uh, Not intentionally. What kind of rod? Well, we don't have to start. What kind of rod would you use? I mean, man, I don't know. I mean, I never have, but Chuck is the name of the YouTube show on Charles Schwab. Oh, okay, cool. Look at that. Look at that. You guys, I asked about tea or coffee. You guys are right away. Usually drink black tea in the morning. So we were going to look at the Wall Street week ahead, and then we were going to look at I can't remember it, John. Oh, Tootsie Roll. That's what you want to look at. Hey, Luke, look at this. We got a Polak in the house. And I say that in all due love and respect, Luke, because I am a birthright Polak. You are Wazalewski. I was born Malcheski. And one of my good friends from grade school was Wesolowski. So close to you, bunch of skis, bunch of Polacks, right? We can all call each other Polacks, yeah? Adam, thank you for making me laugh. Yeah, those babies, man. It can be tricky trying to take candy from them. All right, Earl Grey tea. I don't know. Yeah. Welcome everybody to Dapper Dividends Tea Talk. We're talking about spicy chai or Earl Grey. What do you guys think? I can't. Okay, so last one before we check into Tootsie Roll for you, John, and a little bit of the week ahead. Hey, look at this. Lisa popped on in. Lisa, the worst times. I was at the cemetery today, and I happened to look at my phone shortly after. I was cleaning up my grandparents' headstones, and it's funny. I was there with my 15-year-old daughter. The kid saw another grave nearby, and she said, "This is sad. You can't even see who's buried there." So we ended up she started it and I helped her finish because my grandparents weren't that bad, but she cleared it away and we cleaned it off. And this dude, I was like, look at Walter, Galie, I think, Gallier or Gal. Anyway, so I was like, look, Walter, you got a clean, fresh headstone and everybody can see who you are. You got the sun shining on your headstone. And I said, ooh, but what if he did, what if he didn't want to be found? That's not good. But anyway, the point to that, Lisa, was then I saw that you were live streaming. So, yeah, hey, it happens. But we did something together, my daughter and I. We went and then we took a mile walk through the cemetery, the one that Al Capone's right across the street from. We were at Mary Queen of Heaven in Hillside, and right across Roosevelt Road is the home of Al Capone in Mount Carmel Cemetery. Fun fact, he's also buried in the same place with fellow mobster Dean O'Banion. So there you go. Now you've got too much Chicago mob history that you didn't even ask for. And we're going to go look for you, John, at uh, Tootsie Roll. Hey, not too many people dropped off when I was talking about that. So Tootsie Roll for you, Big John. Big John Stud. Any Big John Stud fans out there? Anybody have any idea who that even is? So 99, very safe. And let's see. I know they're a dividend king, I believe. I'm pretty sure they're in the S&P 500. If they are, then they're a dividend king. That's the thing. That's the thing to tell if they're a king is if the company's in the S&P 500 and they've paid a dividend growth uninterrupted or they've grown the dividend every year for 50 years, they're a king. So this is a little deceiving because as I shared in the newsletter, and I can pull that up in a minute, it looks like they have a 1.19% yield, but there's a fun little trick here with Tootsie Roll. Oh, when do they go ex-dividend? They pay every quarter. January, March, July, and October. Currently 9 cents a share. They look reasonably valued, according to Simply Safe. There's no apparently analyst estimates for Tootsie Roll, so they can't give you a forward price to earnings ratio expectation. But the dividend yield is a little bit above the 5-year average. Share price doesn't move a lot, and I'll show you one reason why. Free cash flow payout ratio really low at 30%. Yeah, and look at the weird aberration, 86%. So they can easily pay the dividend. Free cash flow per share was at an all-time high, $1.18 last 12 months. Sales growth been dropping a little bit. That's because everybody was eating like lunatics, right? With stocking up on candy in 21. Yeah, that's weird. I guess 2020 they lost a lot of business there. Anyway, 71.5 million shares outstanding. And total sales almost at an all-time high again. So yeah, just a boring company. Another good wealth preservation company, I think. Not going to have a whole lot of total return. Not a lot to worry about. Just good margins and no net debt. And you guys know the interest coverage ratio. If you are new and you're watching, the interest coverage ratio is pretty important. It's very simple. All it does is it tells us how many dollars of operating income does the company have to cover every $1 of interest on the debt. Currently, Tootsie Roll has $346 of operating income to easily cover every $1 of interest on the debt. So they are just a good wealth preservation company. And then this is from the newsletter I fired out today, saved it for Halloween. Tootsie Roll does a stock split every year. And I said, basically, if you don't know what a stock split is, it's as if you have a $10 bill. I take your $10 bill and give you 10 single dollars. You still have $10. You just have more pieces of paper. So you still have the same amount. Nothing changes with the value of the company. It's more of a financing, accounting gimmick. But so there we go. They've been doing this every year since 1997. They do a 1 for 1.03 split. If the easiest way, if you have 100 shares every March or February, or depending on the year, they will take your 100 shares and give you 103. So you get effectively 3 extra shares a year. And the way I shared it and broke it down was that there's 3 things you can do then. You can either keep all your 103 shares that you got now because you don't have 100 anymore. You can sell the extra 3 shares, which would current price today be $90.51, or you can just collect the extra 36% per share per year on each of the 3 extra ones. But we'll do some math and it'll be easy. I'm not a math guy, so don't worry. But the current yield is 1.19%, right? But if you take the $36 in dividends going off the hypothetical 100 shares, and then you sold 3 shares, you're getting $90.51. That's $126.51. You divide that into your 100 share, the current price, and that's a 4.2% dividend yield on the shares. So it's kind of cool. It gives you it gives you the option of if you want that extra yield, because you have to pay taxes on selling those shares, right? Be short-term capital gain. From what I believe, actually belay that. I don't know if that is accurate or not, but because it could be tax-free, but I assume it's taxed. And then real quick before we pop off, here's what from this what I bought: 2 shares of Nike at $80, 2 shares of MLPX at 56, 1 more share of Agree Realty to give me that 101, and 5 shares of Vici at $32.69. And now I do remember somebody wanted to know if Vici is overvalued, and I will just see what good old SSD says about Vici, and I just see that I'm not sharing this tab. So let's do that. Here we go. So it shows a reasonable valuation for all you old people out there. Let me blow that up. So they expect them to have a price of anywhere from 30 to 37. They're at 32 now. So, it's not crazy cheap. Pretty fairly valued, I think. And I'm just throwing some here, some there. We didn't do the week ahead, but that's okay. I'm going to get into the chat. Ooh, Adam selling those shares for that's gambling, man, right? Well, because a lot of people like to sell options right around earnings, because if a company crushes earnings, or you sold them. Oh yeah, you sold them. So that if you buying is gambling, I should say you're not gambling, but yeah, because you're not gonna you're not gonna have really, really big up. The best that Adam is hoping for is that, so if he sold a covered call, I'm gonna guess he's hoping for either flat or the earnings to miss. Because unless I'm assuming you don't want to lose the shares. So if you don't want to lose the shares, you're going to hope earnings kind of misses. And then, I don't know what you're selling, but, and then vice versa if you're selling a put. He always took candy from his kids on Halloween, called it the dad tax. Get them accustomed to the real adult world. Yeah, right. That's that, not the marshmallow test. There is, I don't know. I think somebody I remember once used Halloween to explain, I think, socialism or something like that. Like when your kids come back with candy, they went out, they were in the cold, hope or whatever, walking around collecting, and then you come as the dad, and I don't know, you take like 80% of their candy or something, and you're like, okay, that's yours, and this is mine. Thank you. Wait, Visa accounts? Wait. I missed that, Michael. I know that they were supposed to do it soon, but are you saying they're going to, or they did? Because I'm not. Yeah, it was October 23, so it should be. What was the raise? I missed it, ma'am. I missed that. Large Polish area near Ashland and North. Fun area, at least years ago. Yes. There's also some on the south side. We were in the Bridgeport area. Friday night, instead of staying home and editing, my wife and I had a night out. We went into Chicago and checked out a couple more Sorry, I was just reading this Paper Lace, The Night Chicago Died. I still haven't listened to that, man. Probably should, but that sounds like something to do with the police riots maybe in like the 60s of the election or something. High tech. Yeah, give me a minute. Let me get caught up and we can buzz through those super quick if you're game. Oh, Boaz. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. I never got to finish my story. I was telling my wife about you because you said there's the ratio of people to political parties is stupidly low. We're here in the United States. There's what, 350, 60, 80, I don't know, pushing 400 million people. And there's effectively two political parties. And I think you said there's whatever, 30 million people, 11 million. I don't know how many are in Denmark there, but you have 11, I think was the number of political parties. Guy listening to Cheech and Chong. God bless them. The Tootsie Roll, yeah, that I think it's still there. I'm pretty sure it's still there. Good old Cicero Avenue, everyone. Stingy company when it comes to dividend pay also looks like split every year to keep their price low so they don't become a Berkshire A. That could be, but and I could be wrong, but my takeaway on it is that they are giving people they're giving shareholders, they're giving investors the option of if they wanted a 4% yield, they wouldn't have to take it all because right when we get dividends, we get taxed on that if it's in a taxable account and you have no say so on that. And I know I've gone through I did a video where Warren Buffett showed how if he did two hypothetical scenarios, one where a company just kept the cash, reinvested it, grew the share price, and another paid out the money. Well, the company that kept plowing those earnings back into the business and not paying anything out as a dividend grew the share price bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you were able to sell off shares, and it effectively worked out to better because you don't have to pay any capital gains. At least I don't know if they'll ever try and pass that on unrealized gains, but there's nothing to pay if you just hold those shares indefinitely. I mean, if Warren has never paid a penny, I think, on Berkshire. I do not believe he has sold ever any Berkshire stock. I think he's given some away and he's used it in deals, but he has never sold any of his personal Berkshire stock from what I understand. So he's never paid a penny of taxes on that. But yeah, and again, John, you're right on Tootsie Roll. It's for wealth preservation, I believe. It's not I don't think young people should be invested in it. It's not really going to do anything. Oh, I can explain it. I mean, I could give you my opinion on Nike ex Dividend Dad. They were mismanaged by the previous management, John Donahoe. The dude was not a shoe guy. He came from, I think, PayPal and ServiceNow, I believe were the two companies he was at CEO of before. Not a not a shoe guy. And isn't it funny? And yeah, he was helped by COVID, but he went hard into digital. He neglected the stores, went really hard into the DTC, direct to consumer, just wanting to get as much profit as possible by cutting out the middlemen. But those middlemen can do a lot for the business. They have people coming in, handling the shoes. The people in store can talk them up. Uh, they can try it on against other things. You can get a lot more feedback. So that was one of the really, really big things. And Nike knows what they did wrong by bringing back Tom Petty. No, I know it's Halloween, not the, not running down a dream, and Tom Petty, but Tom Pettie or Peddie. I forget. They brought him out of retirement to help try and start repair some of those relationships. And then as well as Elliot Hill, the new CEO who just started a couple weeks ago. So we're going to have to give the man a couple years to cook, but they need a lot more innovation. They took their eye off the ball on running. And I know everyone makes a big deal about On and Hoka and the whatnot, but they're going to innovate. They're going to do what they have to do. And every time Nike's fallen behind, when they focus like a laser, They usually come out very well. So I think it's just a great time for a long-term buy and hold. They have a super high return on capital employed historically. So it's just a very strong brand. And they are still, by leaps and bounds, the top supplier of athletic performance wear. And the second, I believe, is Adidas. And it's like half of what Nike is. So, but they started losing market share, at least in the running space. But yeah, that's kind of it. It's gonna take a while. Nothing's guaranteed, but I think we got to give them time to cook. Adam, you sold covered calls as well as puts. Okay, nice. There you go. So, but you know what you're doing, man. You know what the heck you're doing. Visa's gonna announce next week. Yeah, and John, you make a great point because you can't just say, well, I guess you could say it. I wouldn't recommend doing it. You might think, I love Tootsie Roll. I'm going to buy the stock. Might not work out great. You got to know a little more. So I think when we see publicly traded companies of products or services we use, it's a great idea generator. But to just buy because we use it might not always work out. Procter and Gamble, okay, might, but here, per alpha spread on Vici. Thanks for sharing these, Jim. I really do appreciate that. Intrinsic value, the base case is 46. Yeah, an alpha spread again. Nobody knows. It's all just guesstimates. It's all just guesstimates. Oh, really? It was about it was about the 19. Oh my god, I forgot the year. Holy cow! I can't believe I forgot the year. 27. No. Anyway, it was the SMC Cartage Company, I think on 22 something North Clark. It's the building that's across the street from what is now the Chicago Pizza Grinder Company, which is a bizarre concept. It's essentially it's like a pot pie pizza. I've been there once. Keep it. There's always long lines. We went one time. Nah. High Tech in Bridgeport. We went to a newer bar, punk themed, called Electric Funeral. So that was kind of cool. And Boaz, dude, you guys got 13 main political parties. I love it, man. I love it. That's the way it should be. There should be gridlock. You don't want politicians making snap decisions and railroading things through. At least I don't think. So, all right, what were we looking up for you? We were looking up real quick Vici, and I will go very quick. So if you want to just pause the video because I don't want to get stuck too long doing a full which my last video I didn't intend it to be 24 minutes, and it was a kind of a pain in the butt to edit, but hey, I stick with it. I do it. I enjoy it. I love sharing these ideas, and I don't know, maybe there's a way I can do it quicker, but anyway, so there you go. Vici had that dividend safety score 50, borderline safe. Safe. Anybody watching the World Series? Because I'm sure not. Dividend growth. Come on, I went too big. He went too big. So Vici's been growing that dividend. They went public right here in 2018. So they've been growing it every year that they've been public. And yeah, slowed down a little bit. Ex-dividend December 20th. Reasonably valued, man. That's their price to adjusted funds from operation ratio. So right in the middle of that reasonable valuation, according to Simply Safe. Yeah, yield barely above the 5-year average. The forward PAFFO just below. It's kind of like PE for a REIT. A few different metrics toward the higher end of the 52-week range. The AFFO payout ratio should be right around 75%, which they are. Free cash flow payout ratio, it's just the cash is very volatile, so we don't really use free cash flow payout ratio to assess the dividend from a REIT. We want to see AFFO per share going up and to the right, which it is. I hope you can see this. I don't know if it's something I can't tell. I know I'm looking at a big screen, but sales growth still double digit. I mean, every year except 2019. Look at that. Beautiful. Yeah, and I'm not too worried that we're up to 1 billion shares outstanding because, again, if you see the shares going up, right, that's how they're raising money because they have to pay out 90% as a dividend by law to remain a REIT. So the total sales is still going up and to the right. You want to see total sales going up and also the AFFO per share going up and to the right, which it is. So not really any problems there, just kind of business as usual. And yeah, I won't stick around in these margins too long because I don't want to get caught up. Net debt is manageable, 40%. And then I'll just show you realty income. So Vici is reasonably valued. Realty income is almost undervalued, just barely undervalued. They have a safer score. They're a much bigger company, much bigger, more established. And yeah, 29 years they've been growing that dividend, but they've slowed down a little bit. Yeah, they go ex dividend November 1st. So there you go. Anybody wants to grab a few more shares of good old O? Yeah, they're way above. A lot of people think that they're getting away from their bread and butter. I don't know. I'm at 200 shares. I'm comfortable there. So the yield and the AFFO above and below, which is what you want to see. I'm going quick here. Yeah, their AFFO payout ratio has been coming down. Look at that. It's just steady, Eddie. I like it because of the monthly dividends, and I could probably make a case that I'm too young to own realty income. I'm sure some of you would think that, but just like clockwork, Sumit Roy is their CEO. He's done a good job at the helm. Only at 785 million shares outstanding, but again, all their metrics, everything up and to the right. Margins are just okay, and net debt is pretty low. So I don't know. They're both okay, but I think Vici has a bigger runway for total return for growth. But oh, Dennis, you had to go there, didn't you? It's hey, it's an IPO, right? It's an IPO. So you never know what it might be, the next Microsoft or Apple, but it could also be the next Beyond Meat. It's funny you say that. My initial reaction was to say 1929, but I thought, nah, that was the market crash year. So I thought I was getting my numbers mixed up, but good. Now I will never forget that again because the Chicagoans, you had the St. Valentine's Day massacre, and then the crash, Black Friday, right? Oh, dude, is that Organon? So he wants to do Organon, and he real quick. I'm not gonna. All right, guys, let's look those real quick. Organon and DHS. I think it's OGN. If it's Organon, I sold those. It was a spinoff from Merck, I believe. Yeah, it's women's health. Yeah, yuck, yuck, yuck. 6.5% yield, dude. It sounds like you might be attracted to that yield. I don't know. I'd steer clear. Oof, $17 a share. So here you go. You can read that if you pause it. Yeah, it looks like they've stopped growing the dividend. The dividend is frozen. That's indicative of a cut probably coming. And yeah, right in the middle of the 52-week price range. Yeah, the free cash flow payout ratio is coming down though, but sales growth, it's been negative. It's picking up. I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but they're diluting shareholders a little bit. Return on invested capital's coming down. Let's see their debt. What's the debt? Yeah, if that's accurate, if their net debt to capital is 98%, yeah, I'd steer clear of that, man. Nah, low ICR, no good. I don't like it. Doesn't pass the smell test, and the Wisdom Tree US High Dividend Fund. May have to bookmark this one. I have never looked at DHS, and it's mostly gone up. Yeah, I'd have to see what the holdings are, what the underlying. So I don't know expense ratio and all that. We don't have time for that guy, but yeah. Yeah, OGN. Did any of you guys that invested in Merck get the Organon and keep it? I sold it. I was like, I held on a little bit and I just didn't like it. I looked at the business and said, I don't understand it enough. So, oh, for cry eye, the earnings. Here, just know that this week, I'll read it to you. There's this week reporting is Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, and Meta, which represent 12 trillion in market cap, or 23.2% of the S&P 500 alone, as per Deutsche Bank. And then other big names reporting are Ford, McDonald's, Pfizer, Eli Lilly, Caterpillar, Starbucks, MasterCard, Merck, Uber, Comcast, ExxonMobil, and Chevron. I feel like I just kept counting on the same hand. What is that? I don't know. That's how I count. I count to 37 on one hand. Don't you get confused? Oh, yes, all the time. And I think that's the big ones. You don't need to know the dates. So all those are coming this week. So that's what we got. We got earning. And holy cow. I think we're going to watch a horror movie because it's Sunday night. And it's spend the next hour and a half sitting right there on the couch next to my wife. Gonna have a couple drinks, wind down the weekend, get ready to start the week. So it's gonna be busy. It's gonna be hopefully some fireworks. Love that. We'll be back. I'll be back next Sunday night. Although Sunday afternoon, I'm going with my family, with my daughters and my nieces and their parents, to watch Nebraska and Northwestern up in Evanston, Illinois. So we're going to watch women's volleyball. Nebraska is just probably going to destroy Northwestern. But ladies and gentlemen, that's because nobody goes to Northwestern to play volleyball. That's where your doctors and lawyers and smarty smartersons come from. They're an academic school, and they try to look at all those kids and say, okay, who can play volleyball, where girls get recruited, the best of the best, to Nebraska, to Wisconsin and Penn State and Iowa, those schools. So anyway, that has nothing to do with dividend investing other than just, I don't know, me and my Pep Halloween costume, which I repurposed. And if you remember, I tried selling these shirts. I don't know what I was thinking. I just saw everybody had a store like Ian. I was like, hey, that's clever. When I talk about stocks, I do $PEP. I'll wear it on a shirt. Didn't catch on. It did catch on. It's like the pet rock of the dividend investing world. It's time to let it go. So these are going to graduate into being bed shirts, my newest sleeping shirts. I got some old ones. We're moving those out. And yeah. So, dude, all of you guys and dudes and dudettes, I hope you enjoy this. I really do, because I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to all of you. I love having you over. And wow, peace. We made it. So good luck in the week ahead. I will be back next Sunday. And you know it. You said it, Jim. You called it. Pee-wee's going to take us out. So God bless all of you. And let's talk again. Let's do it again next Sunday. So long.